Hi CMSRU, this is the first episode of CMSRWe, where we discuss life as a med school student and any other topics that might come up. I'm Bo Choi, I am an M1 this fall, and I am joined by my two co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
So I'm Denise Cortez, I'm also a fellow M1.
And I'm Wilhelmina Kennedy, also an M1.
Awesome. And the topic of today is what specialty you are geared towards. We're going to start with just kind of talking more about the different specialties that we thought we were interested in, and also comparing the results of this quiz that we took on AAMC, which is supposed to tell you which specialties you might be best at. Anything you guys want to add before we get started?
Nothing.
Nope.
I'm
Okay.
definitely filled with surprises.
All right, so the test that we are talking about is at aamc.org, and it's in the Careers in Medicine page. And we all took the Medical Specialty Preference Inventory, or MSPI, results. And if the listeners are interested in that, I'll include that in the notes below. So let's just get started. So basically this test is answering, what was it, 135?
No, it was 150.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of questions about do you want to work in a small group setting, or do you want like favorable outcomes, and they were asking a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely agree. Like, I guess they were trying to narrow down what kind of specialties you want to do. But as a, M1, only going into their second week, I felt like it was a little complicated in the sense that we haven't experienced much. So
Right.
certain things I knew absolutely right off the bat I didn't want to do. But other
Like which one?
Like, do you want to tell someone that they're dying? Do you want to deal with maybe like telling patients about certain things relating to their emotions, certain like things like that? I was like, I don't see myself really working that way. Like, I consider myself like a, what would be called, emotionally intelligent individual, but it's not something I really see myself working in the field particularly.
Yeah, a lot of the psychiatry questions I just didn't want to deal with, and like pharmacology. They asked a lot about reviewing of systems, and do you want to work with this system or that system? Yes, I'm interested in everything, but I don't know. There's some things I just don't want to work with. So it was nice to see what they would ask us and like our preferences, because I've never thought of some of those questions before.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah.
I thought the test was really long, but it did try to be comprehensive of a lot of different specialties. And me myself, the ones I know, I don't even think I know them thoroughly. Like I've shadowed an ENT, but I've only like shadowed a small portion of his everyday life. So I think we all just come in with an open mind, and it was just kind of for fun, and it may or may not change. The reason we took it was because during orientation, that's where I first heard of it, whereas the student on the panel talked about receiving primary care or like family medicine or something.
There was also the anesthesiologist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who took hers, and then later on when she was in the field, she took it, and it was overwhelmingly anesthesia, which is so funny. Like, like I want that to happen. Like later on.
Compared to now.
Good, that's a good segue. So if you want to pull up your results, I guess we each of us can go with like our top 3.
Okay, yeah.
And get each other's reaction. So I can start. My top one was OB-GYN, 36%, anesthesiology, 20%, and surgery general, 13%.
Okay, and my top 3, OB-GYN, which was 51%, family medicine, 14%, and physical medicine and rehabilitation, 14%.
Okay, and then my top 3 were family medicine, 44%, internal medicine, 20%, and OB-GYN, 16%.
Oh, all of us had OB-GYN.
Yeah.
To
Wow.
some extent, so.
Interesting. Were you guys interested in OB-GYN at all, or like was it a surprise? Or?
To me personally, it was a surprise. I never really thought about OB-GYN much.
For me, I have always thought that OB-GYN is the most feminist thing you can do. So I've always been very attracted to it. I know that the field is very much filled with men. Like my gynecologist is a man, and it would have been nice like if I had a woman, and especially like I'll just share with the listeners, like, I'm an African American woman, so it must be nice to like have a OB-GYN who would be that. So I've always been attracted to that aspect of it, but I always thought also that I would do internal medicine and then subspecialize at some point in something.
It's funny you bring up male gynecologists, because when I was in high school, I had this really bad, TMI for the listeners, but like, just warning y'all, we are all mature medical students here. I had a really bad yeast infection, and they took me to pediatrics because I wasn't an adult legally. And the person, my pediatrician, was a male, and I had to get up in the stirrups, and like have that examination, and it was so uncomfortable. And I think I was like 16 or something like that. And I feel like I really wish I had requested a woman doctor, but like at the same time, I know a doctor was just being as professional as he could be, but I just felt so uncomfortable. And walking out, I remember my mom singing to me Like a Virgin by Madonna.
Your mom did not.
And I'm just like, Mom.
I definitely relate to that, because even at my gyno, there's the head doctor who's male, and then like I guess the other doctor who's always with him, like, but she's the one who I guess at this point sees most of the patients. I just love her because I know,
Is she a PA?
No, she's a doctor.
Okay.
But I guess she's not the head one. That's there.
Oh, okay.
So having her there is just like, yep, I know, go straight to her. I don't have to feel embarrassed about asking her lady questions. It's just like, okay, like.
There's definitely a barrier. Like, I trust that, like, my gyno is great at his job, but.
Oh, definitely.
There's like a little mental barrier, like, I don't really want to talk to you about this.
See, for me, it's not so much talking to them, it's the fact when I have to get up on the stirrup
Yes.
and open my legs.
And
it's just like,
Hello.
like, that's the awkward part, like having a pap smear done. Like, even like for me, I sometimes it's like routine for my doctor to have a transvaginal, I think it's like, I forget what it's called. So basically they like insert the wand in TMI, but they insert the wand.
The speculum or what?
Okay. So with that, it's a male, and he tries being so nice about it because he like literally does not really look or anything. There's a towel all the time.
But can you look, please? Like.
Oh no! But he knows. Like at this point, it's just like he knows it. But I'm just like, yes, okay, good. And then he tries just like distracting me, showing me on the screen, like, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, that's not good.
So we need more female OB-GYNs. I wonder what the statistic is.
I have no idea.
I think it's majority women, but
really?
Feel free to look it up. Yeah, OB-GYN's like that one field.
I always thought that it was like more men.
See, I also thought it was mainly women. That's why I was very surprised when you said that. And I was like, oh, are there more? A little fewer than half are men.
Fewer than half. A little fewer than half. Which is just so interesting, though. Like, it's like a women's health thing, and like, I don't know. I would think they would be more of the minority, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I think there are mainly women, though. No, we don't.
There's an article I just found. Does the U.S. need more male OB-GYNs?
Ooh,
no.
That's a loaded question.
Well, yeah, because right now,
loaded answer.
For resident programs, 85% of them are made up by women.
Oh.
And that
I was
2015.
completely wrong then.
Well, this was recent, so maybe growing up, so it might have been a little bit different. I don't know.
I think I was interested in OB-GYN because you could do clinical and surgical procedures. And that really interested me because I don't think I'm 100% clinical kind of person. And I really am attracted to surgery at this point. So that seemed like a happy medium for me. And general surgery is my third choice. Anesthesiology is my second choice. So maybe the OR is like somewhere in my future. But, things are still up in the air. And I was a little surprised because I don't really know much about anesthesiology. And that's something I'd like to check out. So I'd be encouraged by that, to check it out.
Yeah, I feel like it suits you well, based off
Really?
knowing you thus far.
What do you mean?
Anesthesiology? I don't know. I
Really?
could see you doing it. I could see.
Do you like math?
Yeah, I mean, depends. Depends on the math.
Well, this is more like basic math. Like it's more
Algebra?
I wouldn't say algebra. It's like more chemistry math.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
like those type of ratios,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and you're so good under pressure.
Mhm.
You think
You
so?
are so good under pressure.
I don't know.
We had this, okay, listeners,
What are we
we
talking about?
had this like
in the
interactive
summer,
game
yeah.
that we had to play, and we were split into 3 teams, and two teams, and Bo was on it.
Oh, were we on the same team?
Yeah,
Were
no,
Denise
was
and I-
it a game or was it like a
When you-
survey that we had to fill out?
When we get the
During
points?
UMed, yeah, for
Oh,
points.
oh.
It was kind of a game.
Yeah. Katie.
So.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Cat.
Bo from Boston's cat. Nabi was trying to join
Attack
us on
me.
the
Just
podcast.
kidding.
Well, I think everyone was under pressure, and everyone,
No, but like you remember that?
like, where I nicknamed you Moana.
Oh, I do remember. Thank you. Now I remember.
No, but like she was very good with like doing everything, and I maybe it was competitive or
The
good under
competition.
pressure. I don't know.
Well, you took leadership quickly, and you know,
Yeah.
okay, like these are the things that we have to get done. This is how we're gonna do them. Now,
Yeah.
okay, you do this, you do
Yeah.
that, blah.
That's true. I do like to I like to be in a position where I can make the calls, or like if it's
Yeah.
something that I'm really confident in,
Yeah.
like I like taking that sort of role.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys?
Oh, I was actually really surprised by physical medicine and rehabilitation, because during a summer like program we had a PM&R doctor come in, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but I didn't really give much thought into it. So it's really interesting that like my answer choices matched up to that a little bit. But OB-GYN was kind of more overwhelming for me than you.
Yeah, those
'Cause
are
I'm-
very strong
Yeah,
percentage.
it was 51%, and then the next one was 14. So like,
Wow.
it definitely leans more heavy towards that,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I think I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to close my mind off to one thing or another.
I feel that.
So
Yeah, like I definitely agree with that. Like I came into med school not like more undecided. It's like I have maybe an idea or like a vibe, as I tend to say, that I have a feeling I'm gonna be going into family medicine. I don't know why. That's why when I saw this, I'm like, okay, like clearly something's telling me I'm gonna be going to family medicine eventually. But I don't know. The one thing that did surprise me the most though was like OB-GYN. Like it was something that I really haven't thought of, and I was like, okay, like that's definitely something, because the top 3 were family medicine, internal medicine, and OB-GYN, which all in some aspect are kind of similar to the fact that you're seeing patients like on a consistent basis. Like okay,
Mm-hmm.
like you're for the most part you're gonna be building relationships with them.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Is that exciting to you? Is
yeah,
that what you
I
want?
do feel like I wanna, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to do surgery, not in the sense of like more, like with my hand, but in the fact that I guess you just see them for that second, and then you don't really see them again. So
Mhm.
it's just like a hello, goodbye type of thing. Whereas I
Mhm.
feel like for me, I want to like build relationship with my patients,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I feel like especially family medicine, since you're able to see all types of ages, like you could literally see a child from like going to puberty, going like then become an adult and everything,
Yeah.
and like that. I don't know why like that type of stuff is like was like oh my god, like
Mm.
imagine
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
there was one question that said, do you how do you feel about being a physician that like you're the first person that is like the point of contact for a patient, like, and then you can refer. And I really like the idea of being like the first point of contact. Like in undergrad, I did a lot of student organizations, and one of them was admissions ambassadors. So I was one of the first faces that students saw and like gave an impression of my school and like took care of them that way. And in a way, I feel like primary care, like you're the first line of defense like for patients, and like you can drive them this way or that way, refer them to here and there, and I'm really attracted by that, so that's why I was happy that I saw family medicine.
Same.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
but then again, I love to like do things with my hands.
Mhm.
That's like I like okay, so we have the possibilities, and then we also have the medical interest scales.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I just want to sneak peek into that. I don't know if Bo
Yeah,
wanted
let's
to
do
go
it, let's
into
do it.
But one of the categories was immediate results, and I got 7.
Me too. Yeah.
Because I want to see a result like right now.
Yeah.
Like preventative medicine is awesome. I see all the benefits in it. But like I would love to see a tumor and excise it. Like I would love to do that.
Yeah. I also like that I can immediately provide some sort of treatment rather
Yeah.
than like prescribing something and checking back in
Yeah.
with them 3 weeks later. That's what I also like, that you have to know so much about anatomy and physiology, and you have to be skilled with your hands, and that all of that really attracts me. I don't know if I bring that necessarily, but that's like the person I want to be. So I guess my question is, like, will I ever get to be that kind of like person, or should I try to find something that's more like of a match to who I am now?
I think if it's definitely something you're setting for, you're gonna do it. Like,
Thank you.
yeah, like I don't feel like any of us have to really worry. Like, I feel like we're all the type of people that it's like we set our goals and it's just like, okay, like this is who we're gonna be, this is what we're gonna be doing in X, Y, and Z years. Like,
I also kind of I'm accepting of whatever happens.
Exactly.
Like, I have my goals and I have my aspirations, but I know like there's like a higher plan for me, and wherever that leads me, like any choice you make, like it could be changing your life. Like even thinking about like deciding to do research or go to like my summer internship, that was a choice I made, and that influenced so many other things. So like I'm just gonna trust that the decisions I make are gonna influence my future for the best.
Yeah, I agree. And I also found it very interesting that both of you guys had like such high numbers for your medical interests. Like for me, the highest was a 5 point.
Oh, really?
That was for prevention and education.
I had a couple sevens.
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
So I had a 7 for procedural care.
Oh, I was really close to 7 in that one.
And then I was really close to 7. I was 6.75 for laboratory results.
Oh, cool.
Because I just love the idea of like putting in labs and interpreting them. So, yeah. And then my lowest, or what's your highest?
My highest was the immediate results in knowledge of anatomical structures and procedural care. Those are my top 3.
Yeah, and then my lowest was palliative care. So I really don't want to deal with not even deal with, but I think that I can't handle a level of grief from my patients like consistently. So they asked us like, how comfortable would you be like telling bad news to your patient about like them dying, or like, you know, taking care of them as far as hospice or any of that. And I think that wouldn't be good for like my self-esteem. So
yeah, I kind of feel the same way. The lowest I got was patient counseling, and I think my problem is I become really invested emotionally, and I think that could be a strength, but it also could be a weakness. And I like that's something that I don't know if I want that in my day-to-day. Yeah, John.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Wait, I think it's really interesting that patient counseling is your lowest and it's a 3. Palliative care is my lowest, and it's a 1.2.
Oh my god.
like that's how much I don't want to do it. But patient counseling is a 4.33. Like I can talk to people about things, but like concerning like death, like I don't know, like that's touchy.
And then my lowest is a 2.33 with home health care.
Oh, okay.
Home health care. What did I get on?
Would that be like a doctor that goes do house calls?
I think no.
I think it said like
more.
working with people who would do home health care. Like how comfortable would you be with referring like a nurse to go to your
like
patient's
hospice?
house?
Or
Yeah.
like also like relating things to like a nursing home, like working in that type of environment as well.
And that goes back to you being a CNA.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like that's another story.
Wait, I didn't know you were a CNA.
She's everything.
I used to be a CNA.
What?
She's an
When?
ENT, a CNA.
When did you get that
superstar.
certification?
God. I got that when I was 16.
Whoa, so young.
Yeah, so definitely I got to see a lot
Willa
of things
snapping.
from the beginning. But in a sense,
Wow.
though, I sometimes feel like with these things, especially with this type of survey, I still feel like there's a lack of experience for me to be like, well, I know I don't want to do this and I do want to do this. So it's just like, that's why I feel like for most of the things, it's like moderately. Okay, I'm moderately like this. If not, it's one below or one above.
Yeah.
I was enthusiastic. I was either like all the way over there or like nothing at all.
For me, it was just like, I'm not sure. The only things that I knew for a fact I didn't want, that went straight to the left. But for everything else, I'm like, well, I don't know if I like you that much. So, that thing. But yeah.
Wait, I'm interested in knowing what you got for reproductive care, Bo.
Ooh, I rated that so high. Because,
Mine was 6.
But I want to see what I got for that. Now that you mentioned it, I got a 4.8, which I'm surprised about because for me that is something I love, the reproductive system.
The women's, or the men's, or both,
Everything. I don't know. There's something about it. Like I really love the reproductive.
I feel like the men's reproductive system is
It's
so foreign to me.
Really?
Yeah, because like ever since
no.
like no, like okay, ever since oh my god.
Why? Oh no.
No, because you know how like in elementary school you get split up between
Yeah.
boys and girls and you learn about all periods and all that. Like in my education, they kind of only taught us the girl side.
Really?
So like when I took human anatomy in my senior year of college, that was the first time I learned about like
Genesis?
spermatogenesis.
Oh my God.
That was my first time learning about like the
Oh.
male parts. So like I'm just so unfamiliar with them.
Wow.
Like all they told us, sorry guys, was penis and like testes. Like that's
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Like and then I knew everything about women.
Really? We were
Yeah.
tested like
Yeah, was everything.
about
Or maybe I just didn't pay attention to the guys.
the feminist side. Just like
real just tubal ligation, you know.
No, but like so serious. Like when I learned that, like it felt like it was the first time learning about men.
okay.
And so I don't know. I've just always been really like on it with reproductive care for women, but not for men.
Mine wasn't too high. Mine was 5.4.
See,
Mine was 6.
See, I feel
That's
like
wild.
I rated things 2 in between, where literally it's a, what is it? A 4.8. But like for me, I feel like, I'm pretty sure I rated that pretty high. So I don't know what's going on with that. But
You know yourself
yeah, I know myself.
the best, you know.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. There's something about it. It just interests me, and like having people like to talk about the reproductive system, like the system, everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe OB-GYN is
Maybe, yeah,
For
like
you.
that's why when I saw this, I was like, maybe like they were onto something, telling me to go to.
Wait, I am interested in knowing what you got for history taking.
History taking.
Yeah, since you
I got 4.5.
See, I got 4.75.
I told you.
But they leaned you more towards like internal medicine
but
and
you
family
also have to
medicine.
realize my highest is a 5.43.
Oh.
So like it's in between that range where my lowest was a 2.33 and the highest was a 5.43.
I like how you
So-
say 3. Can I just say that? 3.
Well, 3. It's like the whole thing people say when I say pizza. So we're not going
Pizza?
there. Yes, we're not going
You
there.
say pizza?
Yes,
Pizza.
we're not going there. 3. So
Pizza.
See, she knows multiple languages, and I'm just plain Jane. So
oh my god.
My brother used to pronounce Kathy as Caffey with like FF. I
yeah,
thought it was so cute.
Yeah, I think that's cute. Yeah.
it is
Caffey.
cute.
Oh look. Nabi's just staring at us. He must be enjoying the podcast. How are you guys doing?
Well, I think we'll end it there for today. And I was hoping sometime later down the road people would have questions or something like that, and this would be the time when I add in the question. But since we're just starting off,
It's only the first one.
yeah, just the first one. So please send us if you have any questions, and we'll try to get them answered. But that's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining us on CMSRWe. I'm Bo.
I'm Wilhelmina.
I'm Denise.
And what's a catchphrase that we should use?
And you're
I don't
watching
know.
Disney Channel.
Dun, 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 dun.
We'll be better. We'll be better.
Yeah, we'll come up with it next time.
Yeah.
No worries.